Here's your Farm and Ranch report from the Montana Ag Network.
And good afternoon, everybody. It's time for your Farm and Ranch news. Well, the U.S. House is set to get to work on a disaster aid bill that does include financial help for Midwestern and Southern producers. Washington insiders say the House will consider H.R. 2157, which is the Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2019. The legislation would provide relief and recovery assistance to Americans that have been affected by recent natural disasters. It does include an additional $3 billion to address some serious needs that resulted from flooding over there in the Midwest and tornadoes in the South. Meanwhile, Senate Republicans say they have a plan put together as well that would include $300 million in additional aid to Puerto Rico, which the Democrats want. In some other ag news here at noon, Juliana Potts, the president and chief executive officer of the North American Meat Institute, just made her first trip to two leading destinations for U.S. beef and pork, that being Japan and South Korea. She says she was especially impressed with the manner in which U.S. beef and pork were presented and even merchandised in those two markets.
I just really loved seeing in multiple retail locations how beautifully presented our beef and pork is. And what I observed in the store was incredible attention to packaging and presentation and signage.
And she says U.S. beef and pork producers are very lucky to have the U.S. and Korea free trade agreement in place, and she's urging the United States to reach a similar agreement with Japan. And before we head to break, the USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service has launched an interactive website that provides livestock producers with some very important information. The site contains web links for obtaining premise identification numbers and location identifiers within livestock producers' respective states. The new interactive map is all part of APHIS's efforts to advance the animal disease traceability program. ADT, they say, is a key component of the country's domestic livestock disease programs. ADT is also critical, they say, to sustaining domestic and international trade. Stay with us. We'll be back with more ag news right after this. And Trump turned up the pressure on China on Sunday, threatening to hike tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. The president's comments delivered on Twitter came as a Chinese delegation was scheduled to resume talks in Washington this week aimed at resolving a trade war that has shaken financial markets and cast a lot of gloom over the world economy. The president turned up the heat by saying he would raise import taxes on $200 billion in Chinese products to 25% from 10% on some of those tweets that he released on Sunday. That does it from the Ag Desk. Have a great day.